What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video, and we will discuss the absolute insanity that is going on with this League Cup scheduling problem. Aston Villa has been drawn against Liverpool in the League Cup quarterfinals, but at the moment there is no place in the fixture list for this game, which is absolute insanity. The Premier League is refusing to let Liverpool move any Premier League games to accommodate this game against Aston Villa. Let me know what do you think about this whole farcical, disgraceful situation. I just don't get it. Why do the League Cup need to have two semi-finals still when the players of top clubs are already riddled with having to play 65 games every season and they have 2 weeks off? Please guys, if you have any chance, watch the press conference of Jurgen Klopp, the Aston Villa Liverpool pre-match press conference, because he pretty much hits the nail on its head with his quotes. This is what he said. I don't know when the Aston Villa Liverpool game will be held. We discussed it already, obviously. We have to, because there is not too much time to make that decision, but there is no final decision yet. If we would play while we are in Qatar, that would have to be two different teams on two different continents on the same day or 24 hours between each other. But we have two games there in Qatar in a very busy period, and it's not that we can go there with just 11 players and leave the rest of the squad back in England to play the League Cup game. The other guys play at home in England against Aston Villa. That it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work like that. So we have to make a decision, and we will make the decision, but not yet. And Liverpool have a very, very tricky situation, because I think Jurgen Klopp really highlights the big problem that we have in football nowadays. That every organization, the UEFA, FIFA, the EFL, the Premier League, the English FA, all they think about is their own pockets. All they think about is to get the most money from broadcasting as many games as possible. But these players can't perform at the same high level when they are squeezed so hard. I mean, have you taken a look at the fixture list, honestly? Because we play every 3 or 4 days in December and in January. Absolute craziness, absolutely insanity. And I don't think Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp will want to pull out of the League Cup, because we have a serious, realistic chance of winning that competition. But if we have to, if there is no other way, I don't think Jurgen Klopp will risk the players. And it's just ludicrous to even suggest the idea that some journalists have already suggested, and that Jurgen Klopp even has to suggest himself, that Liverpool have to play 2 different games on the same day on 2 different continents just to fulfill their fixtures. I mean, we probably have to send our under 23 team to play the Aston Villa League Cup game, and Aston Villa can pretty much field a full strength side, so Liverpool can have big problems in that game and we could get knocked out. But there are not many solutions here, and I think the Premier League refusing to allow Liverpool to move any Premier League games just to accommodate the League Cup fixture tells you all that you need to know about the Premier League's motivation, which is to earn as much money as possible from the broadcasting of Liverpool games and of all the other games. We already had to postpone one game. The West Ham Liverpool game is postponed because it would have been on the same day as the Club World Championship semi-finals in Qatar. There appeared to be no potential free slots in December, because Liverpool, as I said, we already have a game every 3 days. I mean, we play Watford on December the 14th, and then just 4 days later we have to play the Club World Championship semi-finals in Qatar. On December the 16th, that's where the EFL Cup quarterfinals should be taking place according to the calendar, but we will be on a plane to Qatar. I mean, Liverpool players will be on a plane to Qatar on that day, so we can't play the League Cup quarterfinals then. And then we have another game on December the 21st, the Club World Championship final or third place match. And then we have a game on the 26th on Boxing Day, then on the 29th, then on January 2nd, and then on January 4th or 5th the FA Cup starts. The next week it's already the League Cup semi-finals, and that's also two-legged semi-finals. And what the League Cup could do is just to scrap the two-legged semi-finals, and this would solve the problem, because Liverpool could play their quarter-final that week, the other teams would get a rest, and then on the day of the second leg of the League Cup semi-finals, there could be the semi-finals of the League Cup, but it would be just one game. Like in the FA Cup, the semi-finals is just one game. I know that in England there is a big respect for tradition, and the tradition of the FA Cup, the tradition of the League Cup. But football has changed so much in the past 10-15 years. Modern day football has changed so much. The game got so much faster, so much quicker, so much physically demanding. There are so many more media duties for players, for managers, for everybody around the club, that you can't keep putting all these games into the football schedule and not expect something to go horribly wrong, which is that top players will get injured and they won't perform at the same level, and then fans and the media are just wondering, why do we have so many injuries in football? Why does top players sometimes not perform at their usual level? This is exactly why. This is why. If you have to play every 3 days for like 11 months of a year, and it's the same every year, Jurgen Klopp is fully right that it doesn't matter how much money you earn. Physically, you can't do more than what top players already do. I mean, look at Sadio Mane, look at Mohamed Salah. They get a 2-week break all season, and apart from that, for 11.5 months of the season, they have to be in the absolute best shape possible. They have to play every week, at least one game, sometimes even 2 games, and they have to perform at their absolute best every single week. Otherwise, they are criticized by or a lot of fans, a lot of rival fans as well. And I think that Jurgen Klopp is seriously shining a light on this very big issue that football have, that none of the organizations want to budge. None of them want to say, let's just remove one of the semi-finals, for example, of the League Cup, or let's just not have the UEFA Nations League, when already the top players are having to play 60-65 games, and then you introduce an absolutely pointless competition, the UEFA Nations League, just to get more money for UEFA, and just that the top players will have even more competitive games to play in an already incredibly draining, incredibly like full fixture list. And I will be honest, I'm on the side of the players, and I'm on the side of Jurgen Klopp here, that there must be change, because at this rate, like, the modern football players won't be able to keep up. Some players will have to retire at 30, 31, 32 years old, because their body just can't keep up with the modern, incredibly high demands of top football. So Liverpool already have 8 games scheduled in December, plus a potentially League Cup quarter-final, but as I said, there is just no slot for that game, and I just don't get it, honestly. With no midweek slots available in 2019 other than during international breaks, the next feasible opportunity is to play midweek, when they will be not competing in the Premier League, which will be between fixtures on 11th January and the 19th January. But the first legs of the semi-finals are scheduled to be played in that the week before that. So there has to be a workaround here, honestly. And I think another solution would be to ask Aston Villa to play during the international break, because most of the Liverpool players who would play in that game won't be called up to play international football because most of them are under 23s. But then that puts Aston Villa at a disadvantage, because Aston Villa have also quite a few players who will be called up to play international football. And then, is it fair on Aston Villa to say that you can't play some of your players that you would have played in the Aston Villa Liverpool game because Liverpool can't fit the game into their schedule? So it's an absolute mess, and I would love to hear your honest opinion on this, because it just got me very, very frustrated and very angry that the Premier League doesn't even want to move at least one Premier League game for Liverpool to accommodate this League Cup quarter-final. It's just ludicrous. At this point, the truth is that if Liverpool and the League Cup organizers can't find a solution, then Liverpool just would forfeit the competition. It would forfeit the game. We would pull out of the game, which would be a real shame, just to pull out of a competition at the quarter-final stage, because the organizers are just absolute morons who didn't think this through. Liverpool are punished because of winning the Champions League, because we have to go to the Club World Championship as the kings of Europe, and I find that very frustrating, very unjust, that you have to be suffering and you have to get punished because of winning the Champions League. I mean, it's ridiculous. And Darren Bent, the former Charlton striker who played for other clubs in the Premier League as well, said this about this whole issue. It's a tough one, and I'm sure the Liverpool fans won't be happy with Jurgen Klopp saying Liverpool could pull out of the League Cup. I get what Jurgen Klopp is saying, their fixture congestion is crazy, but at the same time, the Liverpool fans want trophies. Liverpool fans saw Guardiola lift absolutely everything domestically last season. Liverpool know they are in a position to do that as well. They know they are in a position where they could lift every trophy in this country like Manchester City did. The fact that they are prepared just to give one away, I'm not sure how that's going to go down with Liverpool fans. I'm not too sure if Jurgen Klopp is prepared to do that. I think what he wanted is to basically ring the bells to highlight a very, very big issue in English football, that they just have too many games in too many competitions. I mean, I don't get it why the League Cup needs 2 semi-finals when the FA Cup has 1 semi-final, and where pretty much almost every other cup competition has just 1 semi-finals, apart from the Spanish Cup. But that's different, because the Spanish Cup, there is just only 1 domestic cup in Spain. On the other hand, in England, there are 2 domestic cups, plus you have the Community Shield, and Liverpool already played in the Community Shield, Liverpool already played in the European Super Cup. I'm not complaining about that, we earned that right by finishing second in the Premier League and by winning the Champions League, but Liverpool already have a very, very tough fixture list, and now you put us into a very, very tricky situation. So yeah, let me know, what do you think? And Joel Matip will definitely miss the Manchester City game, which is quite worrying, but we already knew that he was injured, and Klopp confirmed that Liverpool will be without Matip for a few weeks. That's exactly what Klopp said, so we don't know exactly when Matip will be back yet, but the problem is that Jurgen Klopp and the medical department of Liverpool doesn't know that yet either, because at the moment there are no data saying when exactly Matip will recover. So Jurgen Klopp said that Matip will be out for at least 3 weeks, maybe even more. Also, the good news is that Naby Keita posted on his social media that he's up and running, so it looks like his substitution in the Liverpool-Arsenal League Cup game was just a precaution and he's not seriously injured. But Jurgen Klopp said that he's thinking about resting Fabinho but he doesn't know yet. This is what he said. I don't know yet whether Fabinho will play against Aston Villa or not. I will have to see. I know he is one booking away from suspension. No challenges at all. That's what Jurgen Klopp said in the pre-match press conference. It's not possible to play against Aston Villa and play without making tackles. We know that. We have to deal with this information either with him or with me with the lineup, saying that he needs to set up the lineup so if Fabinho doesn't play. I think what makes sense is just to rest Fabinho, because we have enough midfielders to play Aston Villa without Fabinho, and I think having Fabinho in the Aston Villa game and then potentially risking him getting suspended because of a yellow card for the biggest game of the season, in my opinion, against Manchester City at Anfield, I would actually play Henderson, Wijnaldum and Oxlade-Chamberlain as a midfield against Aston Villa. Maybe put Wijnaldum as the number 6, as the defensive midfielder, because away from home is not really a goal threat anyway. And then Henderson and Oxlade-Chamberlain next to Wijnaldum just to bomb up and down the pitch. And just rest Fabinho, just give him a breather. And then against Manchester City, he will 100% be able to start. Because the problem is that if Fabinho starts or gets on as a substitute against Aston Villa, even if he knows that he's one yellow card away from getting suspended from the Manchester City game, he might put in a perfectly clean tackle, but the referee says that's a yellow card because he can't really maybe see the tackle. The game is so fast now, and remember, VAR doesn't check yellow cards. So if the referee makes just a small mistake and books Fabinho, and the referees always are pretty easy to yellow card a player when he's not on a yellow card in a game, and the referee won't think about Fabinho getting suspended. He will just think, that's a bad tackle, yellow card. Even if Fabinho thinks it's not a deserved yellow card, he will get suspended. So I think it doesn't make sense to run the risk of being in that situation, because I think Liverpool need Fabinho and we need our best players against Manchester City. And Fabinho at the moment is the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League, and I think we really need to protect him so he doesn't get suspended for the Man City game. Also, Oxlade-Chamberlain scored an absolute banger against Arsenal, his former club, and he said it was really hard not to go crazy and not to celebrate like mad that goal. And by the way, Oxlade-Chamberlain is already our top scoring midfielder this season with 3 goals, which is brilliant. He scored 2 against Genk recently and then 1 against Arsenal, and I'm so happy that he's back. This is what he said. It was a pretty good goal. So it was really hard to keep the celebrations in, but that is always something that I knew I would do against my former club Arsenal. I always want to show a lot of respect for Arsenal and what they did for me and the times I had there. I didn't want to celebrate, but it was a tough one to hold in. I wanted to take my shirt off and go mad. Oh, I just love that by Oxlade-Chamberlain. I just love that. Brilliant. I've just tried to run a bit more and get in behind and try to get my legs going a bit more. Quality-wise, I'm not too happy with my performance, to be honest. I wasn't great on the ball and not near my own personal level of where I want to be. I need to keep pushing myself, and maybe I will get a chance. It is nice to get a goal as well, which has ultimately helped us win the game. And Trent Alexander-Arnold also said ahead of the Aston Villa game, relentlessness is probably the main word in and around the Liverpool camp at the minute. We want to keep winning games, gathering as many points as possible and winning more trophies. You can't do that without being consistent in tournaments and over the league campaign, and that's what we want to be, consistent. We saw last season that getting a big haul of points wasn't enough, so we still need to pick up as many points as possible, and that's the spirit, Trent. That's what we want to hear from a Scouser right back who wants to win as many trophies as possible for his boyhood club Liverpool. So come on Liverpool, let's beat Aston Villa tomorrow, and then let's go into the next week full of confidence. Really looking forward to it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Have a lovely day. See you later. Goodbye.